Today we heard from His Majesty's Government a bold announcement of new legislation vowing to remove illegal migrants within weeks of their arrivals. A clear statement from the Home Secretary. She said that she could not confirm compatibility with the ECHR, the European Convention on Human Rights, that is overseen by a court that has regularly found against the British government. And indeed there was a leaked letter that states that legislation is more likely than not, on a balance of probability, the legislation is likely to breach the European Convention of Human Rights. But this is important because there has been a conflict in this country between human rights law and the rule of law. The rule of law is that which is set out by Parliament and has a democratic backing, a democratic support. The European Convention is something that was thought up many decades ago to protect the very basic, simplest of rights, but has evolved because of judicial activism, both in Europe and indeed in our courts, to interfere with the democratic operation of Parliament and has thwarted the will of the British people. So there's been this tension between the rule of law and human rights law, and that has allowed something that's been going on that is illegal and dangerous to continue and has encouraged people to come because the balance has been struck incorrectly. That's the balance between the rights of the individuals who land here and the rights of the country, the community, to protect itself from illegal migration. As the Home Secretary pointed out, possibly 100 million people would want to come here if it were open doors. And so we need as a country to retain the right to deport illegal migrants because the numbers have been getting out of control. Last year, 1 million visas were issued legally, but illegally there are about 50,000 who came across the channel in 2022. And those are the ones who were recorded, and as you may imagine, if you've crossed the channel, you don't necessarily immediately go to a police station and say, I'd just like to say I've crossed the channel illegally. So those are the ones who get spotted. But some of them are coming from safe countries, so a third come from Albania. But Albania is a safe country. Why are people from safe countries seeking refuge as if they were coming from a war-torn area? And the people who are coming aren't the halt and the lame. 74% of them are males under 40. And that's not surprising because they need to be fit to carry out the journey and they need to have the money to pay the people traffickers. People traffickers who are known in Hong Kong as snakeheads, which I've always thought was a wonderfully descriptive term about these bad people who profit, who make money from the misery of those seeking better lives for themselves. And we have to stop them as well as get the numbers under control to ensure that we have a system that the British people have confidence in rather than one that is undermining the belief that we have as a nation in the rule of law. Today, the government's made a bold statement. But that's not the first time this has happened. We've had bold statements before. Will this one prove practical? Has the Home Secretary gone far enough in challenging the European Convention of Human Rights? Will she get a majority in Parliament? Will this country, with a proud tradition of tolerance and kindness and generosity, now ensure that the law is applied against these wicked human traffickers, the ones who dabble their hands in misery?